Hello, we are live. We are live over here on LinkedIn and YouTube, and soon over here on Instagram. So today we're still going to continue this sales series from September because I have a couple more very valid key methods and tools that I really want anybody to have access to, whether you want to increase more sales, whether you want to take your business to the next level, whether you want to better your relationships. I'm telling you, good sales techniques are healthy in all aspects of life, and they even improve your relationship with your children, your spouses, your community. So this is why I get so excited and passionate about it, because I've seen the nitty gritty slimy ick in sales over the past 20 plus years of me being in sales. And I've also adopted, created, and now transformed many lives by using solution-based sales. When I say solution, I mean, yes, solution strategy-based, but also soul-lution, because it's a soul-to-soul contract, right? When we're, especially in the service space, especially in the online service space, especially when we're talking about coaching and all the areas of really helping people with the inner work. So today we're going to talk about more of the overselling, because this is what can happen when we are pitching, when we're trying to overcome objections, and when we are in our state of being maybe a little pushy or bringing in the ick. And so what I'm sharing today are, again, part of what we do, and we unlock all the structures and the strategies that have sold over 100 million plus and growing without even using a script. Because it is really structure, quality questions, the authority, and a couple other pieces that we're going to cover today. What can happen when we oversell? Well, when we oversell, we overwhelm. How many of you have been in the position where someone sold something to you and you are a state of like overwhelm, like, whoa, like I want some of this. I don't need all of it, or I don't even know what we're talking about now. We've been there, right? We've been on that side of it, and it doesn't feel good being the client, and it doesn't feel good when you're the expert as well. When you overwhelm your prospect, you both are going to lose, and you basically block them from their goal, block them from their transformation. So I'm going to go with this easy first step, and that is personalization. Personalization is key. I teach my clients a proven structure, again, that has sold millions and millions. And when you personalize the experience, and this doesn't take a lot of effort, you can still do this in a 45-minute, an hour call. You can do this without someone filling out an application to even get on a call with you. It can happen in real time, completely cold prospect. You can still personalize. And how you do that is in the discovery. And how you do that is with the quality questions. And quality questions are more than just the surface that all the other people in your industry are asking. Of course, there's certain things you must know, right? You're qualifying them to make sure, hey, I'm 1,000% sure I can help you. And that's the job of the discovery, is to be sure that they're a right fit for you, to be sure that they're in the right place. And while staying in your authority of the call and not letting them take over the call. I made a post this week for my OBMs, my VAs, my bookkeepers, because I've had a couple one-on-one clients share with me that they feel like they lose their authority because they feel like they're being interviewed for a position and not actually someone seeking them for their service. And I said, well, let's talk about how you structure your calls. Let's talk about how you set the expectation of your calls. And are they in their authority and using their structure of their calls in this process, right? So it's just getting clear, making no assumptions, and asking those quality questions before you even hop on the call. Another piece of this is guiding them through their objections, guiding them through their objections. You are not overcoming their objection for them. You're supporting them in overcoming their objection. What do I mean by this? You can be certain that the objection they have is a limiting belief, is just a block, is something that they're giving their power away to. But it really doesn't matter if you see that. If they don't see that, they're not going to move forward or take action. How many times have you looked back at some of your sales calls and you're like, wow, I was sold on their objection. Therefore, I was not in my authority to help speak the truth, even if it was hard to say, or even if it's hard to hear. Because at the end of the day, you have nothing to lose but a client. But they have a lot to lose. If this is as a health service, they have a lot to lose. Our health is our most vital asset. If this is a business service, they have a lot to lose. Their bottom line, their expansion, their growth, their scalability. So think about how you are in your authority. Think about how you are with asking quality questions in the discovery. And then think about where you are and how you are in helping them overcome their objections. This will avoid overselling. This will avoid overwhelm. This is why you're here today. This is why I'm sharing this, because again, it's exhausting when you're oversell. It's exhausting when someone feels overwhelmed. And then you're like, where's the reset button? Where's the restart? Can I start again and do this again? So we're going to ditch the script and stick with the structure, especially when we're talking about closing with confidence. Because when we oversell and they lose and we lose, and then it doesn't matter again, if you have thousands of testimonials, if you have thousands of clients that have been successful, we have to go back to that perfect pitch, because the perfect pitch doesn't exist. Every single sales call is radically different and very much the same when we follow a proven structure. And when we, instead of trying for the perfect pitch, we switch that out for what? A personalized pitch. Personalized pitch is key. So when we have a personalized pitch, how do we do that? Right? The personalized pitch happens because of what happens in the discovery. We cannot have a personalized pitch without a good discovery or an application. This is where we get like next level, but I don't want to confuse you. I want to give you actionable tips you can take and use in your sales calls today. If you don't personalize your pitch with their goals, their challenges, their pain, and you didn't get all the juicy details, I call the most quality juice for the squeeze, comes from the most quality questions that are very specific and keep you in the authority role and keep them as the client, as the prospect. But if you even personalize the pitch and don't check in and ask even better specific quality questions during your pitch, they're not active listening to the value, because they're like, okay, I've done all my talking. I shared all my dirt. Here's all the things I want. Here's all the things I'm challenged by. Tell me how you're going to do it, and then tell me how much it is. They might shut off their active listening ears. They're thinking about their dinner. They're thinking about their kids. They're thinking about their next call. They're thinking about all the things, and they're not listening to your good personalized pitch. And how do we check in? We check in throughout the pitch. If we don't do this, this is a form of self-sabotage, especially in sales, especially if you're the business owner still taking the sales calls. This is a must, 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 must. And when you do this, there's no script, because it's personalized. And it comes off genuine and authentic, as it should. This is removing the ick from sales. This is removing the slime. And to be all honest with this, if you're not getting anything today out of any of this, which I just dropped a bunch of valuable information, less of the how. Less of the how. You're like, well, they're asking a lot of how questions. Well, you get to ask other questions back. Does it even matter how we get the result? If it's ethical and safe and fun and customized to you and proven? No. Think about this. If you were to hop on a plane in New York City and go all the way around the world to Australia, do you need to know every little detail on how that plane or those planes and those stops and those pilots and those checkpoints and the operation of the plane actually works and functions to get you there? No. Majority of the people buy a plane ticket, show up, get on the plane, put in their headphones, watch some movies, listen to some audiobooks, maybe do some work, take a nap, and just get there, because they trust the process, because it's been done over and over and over and over again. Like, this is why you and your authority know how to eloquently not saying dodge the how. You can obviously tell them some how, but don't get caught up in feeling like you have to show them all the hows and the benefits and the features and wow them, oversell them, overwhelm them. Because at the end of the day, they buy with emotion and then they justify with this logic. So if they're buying with emotion, this gut feeling, this heart-centered feeling, I want this, I need this, I deserve this, I've been wanting this for how long, and this is the answer to all my prayers. They're feeling this emotion. But then what? Well, logic gets too involved, and now they're committing to what? Their limits. Their limits are in the mind. Their limits are based on their past behaviors and their past experiences. The limits are the old patterns and the old behaviors that have been blocking them from their goals up until now and past now if they don't say yes to what you have. These old patterns, these old behaviors are keeping them safe in the familiar, safe, quote unquote, in the familiar because it's predictable. And it's blocking them from their transformation, not only in their business and their relationships with their money and their health and wellness. And it's these same limiting beliefs and patterns and stories that stop them in investing in your program because you were sold on them. You were sold as the business owner, as the closer, as the rep, as the enrollment coach. You were sold on their limits. And therefore you lose, but more importantly, they lose, and now they don't get to receive their results they deserve and they desire. So what do? We help them have a breakthrough. We help them have a breakthrough and their perspective before they even pay you. How good does that feel? That every single call you get on, whether someone hands you money or not, let's face it, in the game of business, there's operating costs. In the game of business, there's closing percentages. In the game of business, there's all these KPIs that we're looking at. There's red lines, there's green lines. There's sales, there's no's. How do we handle those no's so we don't take that energy into the next call? Well, if I serve them well, if I go give them instead of go get them, because nobody likes to feel gotten. Nobody likes to go get people. Right? I remember when I worked for a company, like, go get them, hustle up, let's go. And I'm like, I'm just going to go give them. I'm just going to go serve them. I'm going to go hear them out. I'm going to ask some questions that nobody's probably asked themselves, or they may not have had the courage to ask themselves. And I'm going to help them have a breakthrough on this call, whether they work with us or not. That's always my goal. That's always my goal. And then at the end of the day, I feel good about it because when someone says no and they say, I'm saying no and I won't regret it, I sleep well at night because I know that it's just a numbers game now. And I'm a pretty damn good closer because I use strategic structure and not slimy sales tactics. 50% of the time, people are going to say yes. 50% of the time, people are going to say no. I've gotten that up to 75% of the time. And then that 25% that say no, I follow up with them. And it's just a matter of when they join, not if they join. How cool is that? So we create these breakthroughs by helping them shift their perspective before they even pay you, which happens if you get good at helping them overcome their objection. This is guaranteed. If you help them overcome their objection is their perspective. It's limited. And we overcome these limits by shifting a perspective. Hey, Sally, are you open to me sharing X, Y, and Z? Hey, Sally, are you open to me sharing the truth, even if it's kind of hard to hear? Because that's my job, is to share the truth. And someone may have shared with this before, maybe not ever. Maybe this is the first time you overhear this. And sometimes it's even hard for me to say, but if I don't share the truth, then I'm going to get off this call and have a regret. And I like to live life without regrets. How about you? And then you share the truth. The truth is, whatever they shared earlier or what the statistics say, that's it. We don't make it mean anything bigger, smaller. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just the truth. And you've been believing this other story, thinking it's the truth. I'd like to help you through that today, even if you decide not to work with us. Are you open to that? Solution sales, strategic sales, ditching the scripts, making it personalized, staying in your authority, active listening from both sides, checking in with quality questions. You share more of the result, personalized to them, not the result you got somebody last week, not the result that 5 people got yesterday, but the result that's important to them. All the other results don't matter. All the other results, they're not on their wish list. They're not on their goal sheet. Even if you got them from other people, if it doesn't matter to them, they're going to check out. They're going to shut down. They're not going to be listening, and they just missed your personalized pitch. And then you get off the phone and you're like, what just happened? That was the perfect call until they said no. And then I was sold on their objection. It happens. I catch myself all the time still. Because this is a practice. This is a mental muscle. Just like when you build a bicep, consistency builds the muscle and maintains the muscle. You stop lifting the weight, the muscle will get weak. You stop taking the calls, the muscle will get weak. You stop overcoming objections, you're going to get really crappy results in overcoming objections. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be like, what's going on? Why am I? You stopped being consistent with your mental muscle. You stop being consistent with the strategy. So what is the result that we're focusing on? Less of the how, more of the result. The destination. Go back to the whole airplane analogy I just shared. You're going from one destination to the other. You don't need to know every little piece of how you're getting there and how the plane functions and what's required and who's involved. There's so many people involved in a flight, and yet we don't hesitate to buy the ticket and just get on the damn plane, right? Because we want the result. We just want to get to the destination. But I coach so much more on this in my Rise Up program. So I have my sales codes, we have the money codes, and we have Rise Up. Rise Up is a lot of the inner work because I'm all about helping people understand the inner game and mastering that in their decision making so they can enjoy the journey and not just the destination. The destination is so much more sweeter when you've enjoyed the journey to the destination. If you're like, what does that even mean? It probably means you're not doing that in life. It probably means you're hustling and grinding and going and you're just doing your thing with blinders on. You haven't really stopped to breathe into it. So I tell people in the lockdown phase, before we money drop, take a couple deep breaths, intentionally slow down, breathe. When you're breathing intentionally and the other person will mimic or mirror you usually, now you're fueling excitement with deep breath, which when you hold your breath can be fear-based, doubt-based, lack-based. And the result is we want everybody to win. The result is we want to get off this phone call, obviously with a yes, with no regret, or a no with no regret. Because again, you're going to hear no anywhere from 75 to 25% of the time, depending on how good you are with sales mastery. That's just the truth. And every single one of my clients is beyond that 35, 45, 50 plus percent because they use these methods and tools and it becomes who they are. I had a lady just yesterday share with me, yeah, I just realized I use this language with my husband now. I'm like, I explained something and I'm like, do you agree? And I'm waiting for, yeah, honey, I agree. I'm like, how fun is that? How cool are conversations? Even when it's the tough conversations. It's like, hey, I've been thinking about this. This is how I feel. This is what I think I want to do. Do you agree? Of course they agree versus just, random shots out into the darkness and they're like not even listening because you're inquiring genuinely for their feedback. And if they didn't agree, what if they come up with another idea or plan that you're like, oh, that sounds so much better. I never would have thought of that. And I'm so glad I shared this because I almost moved forward without sharing this because I like old patterns and behaviors, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we actually care about their result too. But we can't care more about their result than they do. How many times have you been on a call with someone and you're like, I can't want this more than you want it for yourself? Seriously. And I want it for you bad because I know it's possible. And so do you believe it's possible? Do you believe you deserve this? Do you believe that we can help you get there? Do you even want this? Would you love it? Because if you don't love it, I sometimes don't share the money. I don't share the investment. Because if they don't love it, it doesn't matter if it costs $100 or $10,000. I wouldn't want them to do it. I want them to be excited about it. And I know that I can get them to the point of excitement and have a little bit of like uncertainty or fear, but more excitement than that. Maybe a little nervous or scared when I do a good discovery. I use the quality questions and I'm in my authority and I give a personalized pitch and I'm not overselling. I'm not overwhelming. I'm just completely present. And I'm like, here's the truth. You're going to do this or you're going to do that. There's no in between. And when you understand how important the goal is, what it's costing them, what it's costing their job, what it's costing in their life, in their personal relationships, and their time freedom, their money freedom, their health and wellness, it's our job to remind them of these things because they just shared it all 15, 20 minutes before the beginning of the call if we did a good job in discovery. I go back to this is when sometimes we skip over this because we just want to get to the pitch and then we just want a money drop and then we just want to say, do you want it? Yes or no? Okay, great, bye. When the truth is, we must share the truth. When it's something that's hard for them to hear, but even harder for us to say, it's our responsibility as a professional. And it's our responsibility not to come off pushy or hard or slimy or icky. And we do that just by asking for permission. Then we do that and by checking in. Do you even agree? We don't want to assume that we just shared a truth and they're like, nope, I do not agree to that. That is not something I'll ever believe. I don't care if it's written in stone. It's not my truth and I'll never make it my truth. And it's like, okay, you don't agree. Tell me more. I'm curious. Why? Do you want it to be this way? Do you not want it to be this way? Maybe it's just a little different spin on it. And it's like, oh, so you're just really seeing it this way, bigger and better than that. I'm here for that too. And I can go on and on with this today, but you're kind of getting the point, right? When you oversell, you overwhelm. When you try to do a perfect pitch, with all the benefits and features, and you don't personalize it, it's junk. If you're not checking in to see if they hear the value, you're not going to get that sale. And if you want access to these quality questions, the solid structure of a sales call, then join the wait list and jump on sales codes coming out here in October. The first ones on my list will receive a discount that will not be released to the public. And those who also jump in on the one-on-one bespoke coaching called my high ticket closer will be getting sales codes for free, the first 5 in the 6-month and the first 5 in my 12-month commitments. So until next time, stay in your authority. Ask quality questions, help them overcome their objections. And remember, you are overcoming with them, not for them. You can do it for them, but if they don't do it themselves, or at least agree that wow, this was a block, thank you very much, you're going to go around and around in this thing we call the closing circle. Then it becomes a boxing match. And then everybody feels on the defense side and exhausted. And again, nobody wins. Nobody wins. Apply some of the things I shared today. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know if you have more questions, or if you want more support around this. And I guarantee you apply a couple of these strategic steps that your closing percentage will increase today. I'm going to send you off with so much love. Until next time, bye for now.